Hey, it's Mike Brennan, and we're back again with another segment of MITech TV. We have one of our regulars with us, Gary Erickson, who is the managing partner for Executive Search Partners. And just like the name sounds, they place executives in companies for a small fee, and their focus is more on cybersecurity professionals like chief information officers, chief information security officers. But that being said, they also place other folks. Did I get all that right, Gary?
Yes, you did. We're primarily a senior IT position company, directors, VPs, CIOs, CISOs, security and regular applications. And we do it for both industry and for consulting companies.
Ah, okay, cool. So let's talk about how is that market right now. We just had Tamara Shoemaker on ahead of you, and she came up with this extraordinary number of 500,000 openings for cybersecurity professionals. Now, I know these would be of all ilk. They wouldn't necessarily be executive level, but are there a lot of folks looking for executive level cybersecurity folks?
It's interesting. I'd like to see the source of her data because from the marketplace and from what we know from other executive search associations and the statistics, the market is significantly down from where it's been.
Hmm.
And I saw a graph this morning, and I might produce the graph and specifically on cybersecurity positions, see if we can get a listing. The one we got two sources of data, and we're going through a research on it to determine exactly where the market is. But the one I saw this morning says that since its peak in February 2022, many IT jobs and the number of them has dropped off significantly.
Huh.
And we're finding right now that the market is very, very slow. And with the chaos in Washington that we've talked about, there's so much uncertainty. Take the auto industry. How do you plan for auto production and sourcing and stuff when you don't know whether your Canadian and Mexican and Chinese partners are going to be able to supply you with the products at all, or if they're going to be able to supply you to them at a price that makes you competitive? So just take that as an example. That's happening, I think, all over the country.
Yeah, I saw some. Well, I was reading some articles over the weekend, and they're guessing that if the tariffs go through, it's going to increase car prices, depending on the car. Of course, you have the more economy types and the more fancy ones, anywhere from $1,000 to $9,000 more.
Yeah.
And the Detroit Three, you don't call them the Big Three anymore. Detroit Three are really, really concerned about this. So.
I did see a statistic for executive level positions that the market is down from a year ago 40%, and last year it was down 40%. So we're really sort of at the very trough of job search, and we're hoping things start picking up. But it looks like there's going to be a delay in that pickup.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe it'll just take one great big IT security crisis to boost the job market a little bit.
Well, IT security is more specialized, and there is a need for that. There's an awful lot of cyber attacks going on. I'm talking about broad IT positions, like a director of
Okay.
application development or a chief information officer. So that's why Kathleen's numbers may be accurate. I just want to see the source of her data, and maybe she's got a more narrow focus to what she was looking at than we do when we look at the broad market.
So I understand your company, Executive Search Partners, has been researching the use of AI for job hunting. Lord knows a lot of us in the writing business have used AI for this and that. What are you finding out about how it works for job hunting?
Well, we're in the early stages of this. I suggested that we might want to talk about this particular topic because it's become so hot. But when you think about if you're a candidate doing a job hunt, the first thing you want to do is you want to have a resume, and then you want to start searching for the job, and then you interview for the job, and you want to then be able to negotiate accurately. And the first thing you have to do is create a resume. And so I said, well, wouldn't it be great if I could just sort of say, create me a resume based upon this really old piece of paper I've got, and it'd be perfect for today's world. Well, like anything in AI, what it produces is only as good as the underlying data that it uses. So what we're finding is that you still need to go through the effort of creating your resume in depth If you go to our website and look at 12 steps for a highly successful job search, there's a whole, here's how you create your resume. You got to list your accomplishments. You've got to list the companies you're working with. It's reverse chronology. You've got to be able to discuss success stories. You've got to have specific numbers in there. But now the second thing we tell people is that you need to customize your resume for whatever job you're going for. And this is where our recent research has shown that AI really shines. So take your resume, take the job description, go to ChatGPT or DeepSeek and say, using the attached resume, using the attached job description, create a customized resume for this position at this title. So you've got your resume and you've got the job description, and AI and sort of merges them together and produces this resume. And I was absolutely blown away by how good the resume was. I used as a sample a resume of a person we'd been working with, customize their resume for a position. They didn't do everything we wanted them to do, but still, it was a pretty good resume. And the AI resume was significantly better.
Yeah, I hadn't refreshed my resume in a long time. So, as an experiment with AI last week, I had it redo my resume, including the point at the top where, summarizing all your skills and blah, 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 and that sort of, and it came out remarkably well. I wasn't sure what to expect, but AI is really coming along really fast, which I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but it really cleaned it up. It was amazing. So
yeah. Well, I'm actually surprised because you both of you are really good writers, and I would think the resume data that they started with probably, excuse me, let me just change it slightly. I think maybe the reason it came out so good is because the underlying data that it used, your resume, your regular one, was so good to start with.
yeah, could have been. And I used my LinkedIn profile, and it went in there and grabbed stuff out of that I didn't even tell it to do, and it kind of did it on its own. But then the summation at the top, I didn't have that on the previous one. I just had more of a, here's my work experience, here's my education, blah, 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 so. But anyway, yeah, it turned out well. I was surprised.
So we've started experimenting with AI, and I think it's a really good tool. You can use it to do that. We've discovered four different things. We don't normally recommend cover letters because we don't think people read them. But if you have to generate a cover letter after you create your resume, you can say to ChatGPT, develop a cover letter for the position and resume that you just created. And bam, I mean, like, 1 minute, there's a interesting, very persuasive cover letter. Excuse me for coughing.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So talk about using AI for other things like crafting a LinkedIn profile or generating a list of potential interview questions and answers.
Well, those are two other things we experimented with, and then Mike just suggested that LinkedIn grabbed his LinkedIn profile. Now that's an interesting thought. Instead of generating a LinkedIn profile from your resume, create your LinkedIn profile and then have it generate a resume. Our general recommendations for your LinkedIn profile is it's got to look like your resume. The problem with your LinkedIn profile is that you're trying to catch the eye of recruiters, and you're not sure what job they're looking for to fill. And most of us would probably do more than one job. It's not just Chief Information Security Officer for XYZ company doing the following things. It may be a different kind of industry, a different kind of company, a different kind of focus that they're looking for. And you've done all that, but your LinkedIn profile doesn't show that. So it's got to be more generic. However, you can take your resume and you can go to ChatGPT or DeepSeek, and you can say, please create a LinkedIn profile with a good summary and a compelling headline based upon this resume. And then if you really want to customize it, you can say, use this resume and this job description and create a compelling LinkedIn profile that makes you look like an expert in whatever that job title is.
Okay.
And then the other thing you mentioned in optimizing LinkedIn, you can also use LinkedIn to generate, Chat GPT to generate a series of interview questions for you. The prompt is if you're following the sequence we're using, use the resume, use the job description, use the company name and industry, and generate a list of common interview questions for name the job title that you're applying for this industry, and it'll come back and generate a list of 10 to 12 questions that are really pretty good, and ask it at the same time, and also generate a list of strong answers. It worked well.
Okay. So what do you think, you say we're in a trough right now. Based on your experience with, prior cycles in this industry, when do you think the trough might lift? What's going to make it lift? And also, I was curious, when it does, what kind of skills do you think will be most in demand?
Those are some very good questions. Thank you for asking those.
And we've done this once or twice before,
and I am such an expert at predicting business cycles that I'm not sure you should take my. We've been predicting an upturn in the market for a year and a half.
Yeah.
The unemployment numbers are coming way down. Inflation was flattening out. We figured the CFOs would say, okay, things are economically are back to the point where we can start investing in the future. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't. And then, as I mentioned earlier, what's going on in Washington now, I think, has extended the confusion about when the markets are going to turn around. What do I think? The other question, Matt, was what do I think? Will there be any change in the types of jobs people are looking for at the senior levels? I don't think so. I think at the senior level, you're still going to have CIOs and CISOs and directors of IT. The only macro change that we've seen for these kind of positions is that you really do need to know the industry that you're working in, because the primary reason that anybody exists in IT is to develop tools and capabilities and processes and information that you can use to exploit to improve your company, the operations of the company, the acquisition of customers, the retention of customers, improvement in product development, efficiencies in overall operations, better customer service. There's a whole list of those. If you know how to do those kind of things and are business oriented, no matter what your job is, whether you're a programmer or whether you're a chief information officer, know your business, know the industry you're in, and know what's driving that industry and become an expert.
Okay. We're towards the end here, Matthew. You got any final questions?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. The only thing I want to let people know is how they can reach Gary and his compatriots there at Executive Search Partners for more information on all this good stuff.
Well, two things. One, we did update. We have on our website a document called 12 Steps for a Highly Successful Job Search. And that document has been updated to include what our research in use of AI for your job search. So that's a brand new release of the effective today of the 12 steps for a highly successful job search, incorporating AI tools to help you improve how you go about doing your business. The website is www.execsearchpartners.com. And that's the best way to get hold of us. And then on that, when you go to that website, you can find the phone numbers and email addresses for all of the executive search partners.